have some color samples here prepped. Starting with a pyrrole orange, and then this, actually the color that I used here, let me put the pure form of it down at the very end. Pure form of the blue I used was a peacock blue. So it gives you an idea of the transition between the complements using pyrrole orange to a peacock blue. And you can see how any of these colors, as you break this orange with a little bit of blue, could become excellent shadow colors if you happen to have something that was that intense of an orange. This is where just learning about this and practicing doing this can help you achieve more broken colors and find shadows for your forms. I'm going to leave some of this available for us to do in class on Saturday, but I'm going to go ahead and basically redo this gradient that I did already so that you can see how I do that. So just like when we started with an exercise that had just water, in this case we're going to start with just one color. I'm starting with the orange, obviously. This is the pyrrole, one type of orange. So, and I just wanted large enough quantity so that I can spread it over multiple dabs of paint. So I'm just thinking about how much I need. I wouldn't want, if I don't mix up enough, then it won't be able to spread over the amount that I'm doing. Now, I'm actually going to do a second thing that I haven't done yet down below. So I'm going to even grab more color, and I'm trying to grab this color fairly dry, with a fairly dry brush, so I don't have a whole bunch of water interacting with the paint. Just enough water, just enough wetness on the brush to grab the color that I want. Okay, so let me just check my video. Okay, so here we go. I'm pulling straight from the peacock that I have on my tray. And you have to be thoughtful about the peacock over here. I certainly don't want to get blue. I don't want to have a whole bunch of orange in my peacock, but I guess I could always clean it if I need to. All right, so drying off my brush, grab a little bit of this, come down with that orange. The other thing I'm going to be doing, grab a larger brush, I'm going to make a wet into wet area, because I'm really enjoying, looks like either this brush or my water's a little dirty. I'm really quite enjoying some of the colors that I'm seeing. I already know that I like this combination, but it's always fun to remind yourself how much you like a combination. So I'm going to be doing a little wet into wet on the side as I form my colors. So can actually move this guy off. Let's take some of the peacock, and I'm just going to put a tiny touch in there and mix it. And you can see it just starts to break. Now, that's not a color that I want to use. I'm gonna make a invented landscape in here. I'm gonna take a little bit more and go ahead and mix it all the way through. If you blend these two together, you'll just see kind of the middle. Ooh, I like that. So I'm just coming in and I'm just going to put some background. Now the amount of water that you mix with this color will really make a difference. of the final color. You know, the final color will be affected by how much water you get in there. So I am going to be thoughtful about not putting, so I'm using this as an underpainting. Being thoughtful about not putting a lot of water into this because I'm still doing this exercise over here. So just take just enough to keep my brush wet. Come in, add a little bit more. And you could stretch this out as much as or as little as you want. And since this is still wet enough to do some wet into wet, I'm going to add a few more forms like they're closer in space. Now, I don't want to do a lot of scrubbing on this. We talked about adding additional layers last week. Oh, hello, young man.
Could you read books with me?
Absolutely.
In my room?
Absolutely. We're going to do that in about 5 minutes, okay?
Just 1 minute.
Mm-hmm. See what I'm doing right here, Eric?
1 minute.
Come look at what I'm doing here. You see this? I'm adding in color. Now watch what happens, okay? So I'm taking some more blue and I'm going to put more blue in and oof, oof. Isn't that looking nice? That's really starting to look mostly blue, doesn't it? Put that in a few areas, nice down low. Bring that over here. Oof.
What are you painting?
What am I painting? I'm just kind of playing around. I'm just sort of painting. What does it remind you of?
A little lake kind of thing.
Doesn't it?
I think it's finished right now. The white water looks perfect.
Yeah, the white water. You like that?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right. I think I better stop on that. I could come back in and do some additional things later on, huh?
Let's just play.
So let me say one more final word, okay? Ready here, Eric?
Yeah,
So any of these colors, like this lovely one I just mixed up, you can take that mix, of course, and you can take some water and it can become, you can use this as the blue that you're using for something else, and it might be just the right blue that you want.
Could you just come with me?
Yep, I'm coming. Hold on a sec. Okay.
Maybe my eyes back down.
And so the trick being, if you run out of paint,
You're running out of time.
just a minute, honey.
The caterpillar's almost rolled up.
And if you run out of paint, you know exactly what to mix to get that back. But you're going to have to document that because you will not remember. Let me tell you. You will not remember later on. So this was Pyrrole 2 R's. Pyrrole orange and what did I say? Peacock.
Peacock.
Peacock blue. And it is,
And
what is the date today?
Dark.
January.
And also darkness. Could I do something? A mix of colors?
You want to mix some colors?
I will do one little test on there for you.
Sure. Just a minute. Let me turn it off and we can do our test.